dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, a life destroyed. Until I woke awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Superhero.
What's up, everybody? Just getting started on this live. A new setup today, so we have a great topic to talk about. I want to see if anyone does not think we need a full reset of our political system. So thanks for everybody for joining. I have a question for you all that are joining since we're just getting this live started. I'm working on through a new setup today. So if you can let me know in the comments, number one, can you hear the music in the background? Can you please confirm you can hear this music?
To shield you all from the enemy.
So if anyone can post in the comments, if you can hear that, that would be awesome. That way I know that that actually works, so that my mixer is actually picking it up. So if anyone in the comments can let me know, can you hear this audio in the background? And then I'm going to do another test in a minute regarding picking up a website. So can you pick up my screen share information? So when I play screen shares, will you be able to hear it? So just getting this live started, and let me know if you can hear that music in the background. Actually, I'm going to play quickly something. I just need a little confirmation. If you guys can give me confirmation, can you give me confirmation, please, that you can hear
I think that's very important.
Steve
And
Jobs in the
however you learn
background?
that, once you learn it,
Everybody, welcome to the live. Just getting started
change
here.
life and make it better, 'cause it's
Today's
kinda messed
topic
up in a
is,
lot
do
of
you want
ways.
a full reset of our
Once you learn
political
that,
system?
you'll never be the same
That's
again.
what I'd like to know. Awesome. Thank you, Tabitha. Thanks for letting me know. So that's great. So we got that working. And then in the background, I'm going to play just a little bit of JFK in the background.
Graduates, so they can get a real sense
Can
of
we hear
what
the
real
JFK?
life, art of politics is all about.
Would we recognize some of the names of the people who have been involved in the Institute?
Absolutely. I mean, there are.
I'm gonna do a live screen share as well.
Gaston Caperton, the former governor of West Virginia, is a fellow.
Cool. Can we hear
now
that as
Rick
well?
Burke, who
Awesome.
was
Thank you.
The New York Times national.
All right.
political
So working off of the
correspondent.
Mac app now.
There's former governors and
Let me turn that down.
senators.
And come back to the other scene. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Tabitha, I should say. Not everybody. Thanks, Tabitha, for confirming that that works. So we have a discussion today. It's going to be a brief live on, do you want a full reset of our political system? You're welcome to join. Please hit the join button to request the join, and we'll go from there. But there is actually a magic formula. So if you're watching and you want to know what the magic formula is, I'm going to do a video on this today. Well, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I may not post it tomorrow. I don't know how content will be received on Thanksgiving. Either it'll blow up or won't be successful at all. Who knows? Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thanks for the gifts and the hearts and the likes and so forth. So do you want a political reset? Because there actually is a magic formula to do this. And like I said, I'm going to post a video on this tomorrow. So you're getting a little preview into the video. And if you happen to see the video, please repost it tomorrow or on Friday, whenever I post it. Please repost it far and wide, because I think most people don't understand that there is the potential for a full political reset. And there is a formula to make it happen. And it's not that complex. It's actually not complex at all. It's actually very straightforward. The only complex thing about it is getting enough people to actually want to support it. That's what matters. It's the support that matters. So if you actually want to do something literally life-changing, country-changing, it just takes enough people. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Is a pretty nice showing here. So thanks very much. If you want to join as a guest, please join as a jump into the queue. And there's the request to join prompt. So if you want a full reset, how do you think it needs to happen? I'd want someone to tell me, how else do you think it could happen? Like you hear people talk about, let's repeal Citizens United. Let's do this. Let's do that. But those are just like Citizens United is just a ruling. You have to do more. You have to do much more. But it actually doesn't need to be that complex. So the first thing of the magic formula. So what is the magic formula? Well, you can see it right on that prompt right in front of me, right? If you want a full reset of our political system, it can happen, but it just requires basically 3 things that need to happen. And in order to make those things happen, it requires enough people that want to support it. That's it. So G-Man, democracy is ruled by globalists. You hear that all the time. Yeah. What's this? That's like the they, quote, they are the ones doing it. Yeah, there's a lot of influences around the world, from foreign interests to billionaires to corporate special interests and so forth. There's always been a powerful ruling class around the world. It just so happens, yes, maybe it's a little bit more globalized because we live in a global system, right? There is globalization. There is free trade around the world. So of course, but there's no one faction controlling everything. Like people say the boogeyman, the globalists. Well, there are a lot of globalists. There are a lot of forces around the world that are vying for control. And when it comes to the United States, those people are corporate special interests. There are billionaires. There are foreign governments, like G-Man says there. There's foreign interests all over the world that are trying to capture as much power as possible, as much money as possible, to have as much control as possible, to control the narrative, and so many other facets. So there are different factions. It's not billionaires per se, but there are many billionaires, of course. So what needs to happen? So if you really give a shit about taking back this country, the United States of America, and you want to return it to a government for the people, by the people. And this is what's really important. You can even claim right now, or the founders, by the founders' standards, the founding fathers would suggest that today's system of plutocracy and corporatocracy is an illegitimate government, because our government doesn't represent the interest of the people. It represents the interests of people who are powerful, people with foreign government connections, special interests, and so forth. So that's the issue. So you have to come back to something really basic. What is the ultimate cancer in our society? Not in our society, but in our government. What is the root cause? What is the cancer of the American system? It's greed. That's what it is. It's greed and money. It's people searching to maximize greed and to have as much control, power, and greed. That is the root cause of everything. So when people talk about individual issues, whether it's immigration or human rights or healthcare or whatever topic you have, that's not the root cause of all of our problems. The root cause is money in our political system, power in our political system. And that's why you have to have publicly funded elections. So if you want to know what the magic formula is, thanks for sharing the live, everybody. Appreciate the shares. That's awesome. You have to eliminate the money from the political system. Since 1974, Buckley versus Valeo, that was the first shoe that really dropped. And Citizens United was the nail in the coffin. Over the past 50 years, there have been many rulings and many events that have completely removed any of the restrictions from money in our political system. So the way you have to do this is you have to make sure elections are publicly funded, meaning ban big money. We all know that. I don't think anyone would disagree with that, right? At least if you're sensible. If you're sensible and you're reasonable, you'll understand you have to remove the influence of money. That money comes from corporate special interests. It comes from foreign governments and foreign agents, lobbyists, NGOs, unions, go on and on. It's endless. And by the founder standards, because our government doesn't represent the people anymore, and it never did fully, let's make that clear, it needs to come back to that. So we need publicly funded elections. So how do you do that? Well, let's see if I can get it up here. Actually, it looks like that is not there. So we need a 28th Amendment. I'm going to try and add that to the view. So we have to have a 28th Amendment to be able to do that. And a 28th Amendment would simply say that all elections need to be publicly funded. That's part of the formula. The second part of the formula is a 29th Amendment, meaning term limits. So that's step number 2. Step number 2 of the magic formula is having term limits in conjunction with publicly funded elections. And that means there would have to be a 29th Amendment. That would need to happen. I would like someone to come on and talk to me about it and say, why, what else could we do? Like if you want to actually have a full reset of our political system, tell me what else you can do. I know it's ambitious, a 28th and 29th Amendment, but it's not as ambitious or impossible as you think it may be. It just requires 50 million people. That's what it requires. With the power of 50 million people who supported a 28th and 29th Amendment, which is steps 1 and 2, I should probably make that more clear on the prompt, a 28th and 29th Amendment, you could solve almost every issue or eventually every issue. Now, the cherry on the top, if you want to call it that, is ranked choice voting. You need ranked choice voting. That would be the cherry on the top where you could do everything that you need to do, because ranked choice voting would loosen the grip that both parties have on the political system. It would allow for more independence. It would allow for more parties to enter the system. So ranked choice voting is part of the solution. Each one of these things that you're seeing on the screen, none of them by themselves, except for the first one, has a massive impact. Number 1, publicly funded elections, getting rid of big money, does a tremendous amount. You combine those two things with term limits and making sure politicians can't stay in power too long and they can't enrich themselves. That's really important. Term limits do very little other than rotate people in and out of office unless you remove the corruption by big money. Term limits alone do not solve much, and that's been proven. And then you add on ranked choice voting. When you add in ranked choice voting to these 2 other amendments, and that happens mostly at the state level, some states like Alaska and Maine have already implemented ranked choice voting, and that's being proven to be very helpful. But if you're not familiar with ranked choice voting, it's very simple. With ranked choice voting, because a lot of people don't understand how it works, is you pick which candidate you want to win. And then which candidate, if that person doesn't win, would you like to come win next? So you pick, let's say if there's 5 candidates, you pick 1 through 5. Who do you want to win most? Then what happens is the people with the most or the least amount of votes, meaning the 5th place person, that person's votes then go to the next person up and it gets distributed. So you end up having, as your candidates are eliminated, those votes go to your next person in line. So ranked choice voting is very fair because it allows you to say, well, I would like this person to win, but if he doesn't win, I want her to win next in my number 2 spot. Or I want my number 3 person to win after that. So if my first 2 people don't win, then I want the 3rd person to win. And when you put those numbers together, you come out with the winner. So same-day voting, rational beard, same-day voting, that doesn't really matter. No mail-in voting. That's not rational. Mail-in voting has been successful. Military has been doing mail-in voting. You have people around the world that have to do mail-in voting. Same-day voting. The one thing you could say about same-day voting is that moving the elections to a Sunday would be really helpful. Getting rid of the Tuesday elections and making a Sunday election day would probably help a little bit as well. So Hoodlum says, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I am suggesting that you add 2 amendments to the Constitution. That's not reinventing the wheel. That's doing exactly what the Founding Fathers expected the Constitution to do, which is evolve with the morality and the times of society. We're not impacting or suggesting to change the Constitution at all, other than adding amendments. The Constitution is an incredible document that needs to be left alone. The problem with our political system is not the Constitution. It's not necessarily even the 2 parties. It's the people in government. This is a people problem. This is not a administrative or a governmental problem. When you have bad people who are motivated to enrich themselves or motivated by bribery or fraud to enrich themselves, and they're not having to represent the people anymore, that's where you have the true problems. So thanks for the follows, by the way. Please remember to follow and like. We have a really big audience in here now, which is awesome to see. So people clearly resonate with, do you want a full reset of the political system? I'm going to take questions in the comments. If anyone wants to join the live, please hit the request button. I don't even know how to accept people on the request button on the new system that I have here. I'm working off the desktop application now, and I don't see where people are requesting to join. I'll probably figure that out as people join. So if anyone wants to help me do a test and wants to join the live and have a discussion, please join, request up, and let's talk about it. And I'll figure out how to invite you in. All right, so awesome. Thanks everybody for watching. So do you want a full reset? I'm going to take some questions in the comments. Remember, a full reset of the political system is possible. It requires a 28th and a 29th Amendment. And that's the first 2 bullet points there. Need to be publicly funded elections and ban all big money. It's not impossible. This really started back in Buckley versus Vallejo, the ruling Buckley versus Vallejo in 1974. And then the last nail in the coffin was Citizens United in 2010, basically allowing super PACs and PACs and even foreign governments, as long as they're part of an LLC or a corporation, to completely flood the system with false information. And of course, then you have paid lobbyists and so forth, as Island Man 64 says. Absolutely. If you get rid of paid lobbyists, if you get rid of, make sure elections are all publicly funded, then you get rid of lobbyists as well. So they all go away. It's not impossible, people. I promise you it's not. It just requires 50 million people who actually want to do it. That's what it requires. The power is still in the people. But right now, we all know that our government doesn't represent us. It represents corporations. It represents so many other people. So JK, okay, so we see it. I popped up on my screen, multi-guest. That's excellent. And we have our first. Hi, JK. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for joining. You're my first guest now that I'm working off the Mac, so I didn't even know how to accept people. So cool.
I didn't even know how to request it, and then I saw 2 people. What does that mean? And then I pushed it. And I was like, oh, there. That's how I request.
Awesome. There you go. So we're both learning.
Yeah. So I love the plans that you are speaking about, in your head, and how the amendment stuff is. I think it's hard for the United States because of how large we are. Every state has its own personal limits of everything, and to get a whole nation as big as ours to just agree upon so many things to change our government, just the federal government alone, I mean, it would be amazing. Because like how Mamdani's doing this thing in New York, I'm hoping that it works so that it could be a model for the rest of us. Because some change I don't care what kind of change, as long as it goes in the right direction, you know.
Absolutely. You bring up a great point because people say all the time, like a 27th Amendment, which we do have a 27th Amendment, it was suggested all the way back in the 1800s, and it took until 1992 to get it passed. But it wasn't anything about people think it's so complicated to get an amendment passed. It's actually not that complicated. It's just if enough of the states, but you have to have people behind it first, then can do it. And your example using Mamdani, no one knew who Mamdani was about a year ago. No one knew who he was.
I know I did it. I didn't even know he rapped or did videos and stuff like that. It was like, oh, okay.
Right. But in 2007, most people outside of New York that have heard of Trump, but they didn't know much about Trump. Trump became famous because of his birtherism and saying that Obama wasn't a U.S. citizen. Mamdani didn't become popular until within a year. Now, of course, that's only New York, but it's not just New York, right? Mamdani is now famous nationwide. So my point is,
it's that hope.
so when you say, we're a big country, it's a lot of people to inform, it is, but it's not when you get red and blue people to agree that, hey, maybe we don't need money in politics, and hey, politicians shouldn't have a career, it should be temporary civic service. That's the type of message. You just have to find the message, just like Mamdani found the right message in New York. As much as I hate to admit it, Trump found the right message for half of America in his 2 terms, right? So it's about finding the right
that is
message,
true.
and then you can spread it. And that's what I'm trying to do here, is just trying to spread a message and let people know it's not as complicated as people think. You just have to have relevancy, right? You just have enough people have to know about it.
It's the backing. You gotta have the backing to have it into fruition. And people have to actually want to be involved, because I could agree with you all the time and say, yes, that's a good idea. But that's all I do is say it.
Right. Well, the beauty is we have social media today, right? And now we have 473 people watching this, which is not even, that's nothing. But you start with, a few months ago, I had no followers, and now I have 40,000 followers, right? What if
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, so what if 40 turns into 100,000? What if 100,000 turns into 1 million? And I have no desire to be in politics whatsoever. All I'm trying to do is spread a message that says, hey, wake up, people, take our heads out of our asses. If we really want to change our lives and our political system, it's not quite as crazy or impossible as most people think.
I hope so. I mean, we do need to change. I really don't even care what political spectrum it is. Like I said, as long as it goes in the right direction in a positive way for everyone equally, because I feel like we're stepping backwards. At this time, anything positive is a step forward.
Well, the biggest thing that you can do, and each one of us and everybody watching that can do, is stop engaging in the individual issues, the fights about. They're all important. I'm not suggesting they're not important. But getting into these debates, red versus blue, whether it's immigration or it's abortion, like all that is just meant to divide America, because if we're divided, then we can't come together behind anything. So my advice to people is
That is true.
try and avoid digging into specific issues and always come back to the root cause, and always bring the conversation back. Well, take your head out of your ass and realize immigration might be important to you, it might be less important to me, whatever it might be. But we all can agree that the amount of money in our politics and how much, and look at Mamdani. He didn't become popular in the mayor of New York because he was able to raise ungodly sums of money. He didn't become popular because of that.
Nope.
He became popular actually because he didn't need to do that, because he just had a message of hope. And that's how he became popular. So when you say
Exactly.
you need resources, well, you don't really need that much money. You just need a message, because people will always come towards the message.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of the messages that he was putting out was he can't be bought, and right now in our society, that's a real major issue for us, because it just seems like the politicians were being, like you said, it's not our system that's messed up, it's the people in the system that's running the system right now is what's making it the way it is, where it's not working for the people.
Yeah, and the most of the people that are attracted to get into the system are attracted for all the wrong reasons. They're attracted now to go into politics because they're like, oh shit, I can stock trade off of insider knowledge, or I could do X, Y, and Z. So the people that civics is attracting, or politics is attracting, is not the right people.
Exactly.
Right.
In the state of Texas, though, I'm pretty proud of what's happening, though, because it's going in. I think we were very complacent about a lot of the voting going. I know I was, because, you know, things were going nice and I just got too comfortable. And I mean, I didn't think Trump would get voted in again. I just didn't think that he would. And I was too comfortable. Now I'm like, so I'm researching a lot of stuff now, a lot more than I used to in my younger, because I'm almost 50. So I was around when Ann Richards was governor, and that's what my focus is here. So I need something like that again, progressive.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and it's just decency, right? We need people who are decent, and we need to think in terms of decency and empathy, and just not greed, right? Because most people are thinking about greed.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for joining. I appreciate having you on, and thanks very much for just taking the time.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Thanks. Hey, Political Jest, good to see you. You need the right message. Absolutely, Tabitha. It's always about the right message. It's just stunning. There's a lot to learn, good and bad, from people like Trump. Believe it or not, in his messaging, he was able to attract, even though it was based on some hate, it was also based on hope. Republicans or MAGA will tell you they were hopeful that Trump was going to do some things that he wanted them to do. So he ran, you know, politics is only about two things and two things only, hope and hate. You usually run on hope or you run on hate, one or the other. People don't like when I say this, but when you think about it critically, you realize that Trump, to some people, ran on hope, and to other people, he ran on hate. So he was able to leverage hope and hate to get to where he was. Obama always ran on hope. Mamdani is running on hope. Hope is more powerful than hate, but hope is not louder than hate. Hate is louder than hope. So it's important that the people who want to be hopeful and hope resonates with them, anyone who spreads hope needs help spreading that message, because hate is just loud. People just go towards hate, and it's very loud, and people just repost it naturally. Hope is a little bit less loud, but it is ultimately more powerful. Cognitive dissonance, great username. Why was Obama hateful? I don't understand. I don't remember what he was hateful about. So leave it in the comments or join me here on the live and tell me how Obama was hateful.